Okay, 7 o'clock. Let's get started. Welcome everyone to tonight's Water Pollution Control Authority meeting. It is Wednesday, November 17th, 7 p.m. We've posted tonight's agenda online. Are there any proposed changes or modifications from the commission? Seeing none, we will proceed. First item of business is the approval of the October 20th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. Relatively lengthy, comprehensive. I want to thank John and Joe for pulling those together with, was that with Sheila? It was Sheila.
Yes.
Okay. Any proposed comments, questions, changes? Matt, welcome. No? Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Is there a second? Second from Mr. Drew. All in favor? Aye. Looks to be unanimous.
I'm going to
Well,
abstain.
Oh, actually, Quinn's here. I have to abstain also.
Okay, I didn't see Quinn. So Quinn and Nancy both abstain. Gotcha. Ron, Christian, Matt, Joe, Mark in favor. Okay, next item under the new business section are November sewer use adjustments. I'm going to suggest we take these in the order first of the water leaks. I think those are relatively, we kind of cluster those together. We'll then look at the nursery and the farm, and then we'll end with the prior owner adjustment, which may be a little bit more complicated or require a little bit more creative thinking. So in that order, first up, and John, I'm going to ask for you for a quick overview of Stephanie Kelly, 76 Daybreak Lane. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can. I'm going to just ask the department to give us a quick overview, and then if we have some questions, we'll direct those to you.
Okay, so Stephanie Kelly, 76 Daybreak Lane. She comes to us tonight with a water leak. She provided the backup for the repair. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you waiting more for me or?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the information.
Okay.
So the bill came in at roughly 8,898. What's the proposed? Trying to cycle between two documents here. The proposed modification, John?
Proposed modification. Do not have that. Believe I sent it along. I don't have that in front of me. I'm sorry, I don't have the proposed modification in front of me.
I'll pull it up. Stephanie, why don't you give us an overview as we're all pulling up the documents?
Well, it was a slow, steady leak that, unbeknownst to us, it started probably over a year and a half ago. We saw just slight increases in our usage, which we contributed to having 4 teenage kids home during COVID.
Sure.
We saw a significant jump a couple of months ago. And prior to that, we did have a plumber come out. I was worried that there was maybe a leak from our irrigation system. So we had a plumber redo all of our outside water and some of the irrigation lines as well. It's still steady climbed. And then we saw a huge jump
Yeah.
a couple of months ago. And that's when we started with safety valve and, well, actually Aquarian first. I called to find out what was going on. Aquarian then found the leak in the main line to the house. And safety valve came out and did it. So we saw usage go from, I think, a highest 300 something down to 14 after the leak repair.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the usage over the last year. Do we have, what was the prior year bill?
3460, Mr. Chair.
And then the year before that, so you can see it went from 1,200, the following year 3,400,
Yeah,
and the huge jump to 8898.
yeah. Prior to that, 570.
In 2017, it was 570.
Yeah. Okay. Now, do we have a few months? Could you share with the department a few months of the more recent activity so we could figure out kind of what a fair run rate is on this?
So you're talking about the water usage history?
Yeah, so the bill I have, recent one I have in front of me is April, but it sounds like you're saying even that was a bit inflated.
Oh, yeah, if this goes back to 420, water usage was at 65. And then we saw a steady climb for about a year. It bumped up then in 920, it was at 160. It climbed all the way up to then 300 in early 21.
Mm-hmm.
And
just-
that's when we started doing the investigating. And then, after we had it repaired, I mean, it was market jump. So
Yeah. What I'm suggesting is we want to help. We don't know what a fair and reasonable adjustment is. So if we looked at the last few months since after it was fixed, I think we could pull from that data.
well, it was just fixed last month, so we only have 1 month
Ah,
past.
okay.
So it was repaired on October 6th. So the usage for October 6th, however that read is for November, it came in at 14. So we see a significant drop.
Okay. Hmm.
You know what it was before COVID, before everybody had to stay home?
Yeah, we can go back and look. Feels like COVID's forever. When do you consider the
Yeah.
start of COVID?
Yeah.
When all the kids started coming home, we saw a bump. And that was, what was that? That was,
January 2020 is
Okay.
really when COVID started.
and so, in April of 2020, we saw it at 65. And then it went up, in the summer months, it went up to 114, which I still attributed to having all the kids quarantines at home and sprinkler system. And then it went up to 160 and then up to 170. And that's when I started thinking, all right, we've got a leak somewhere. And I checked the toilets. I did everything in the house with a plumber. I looked outside. And then when I saw a bump up to 260 in early 2021, that's when I started working with Aquarian more. I finally got them to come out September, and that's when we found the leak. And October is when we got the repair.
Okay, so we have 1 month of data. How many months can we go before this gets to a point of being a lien? I think if we had 3
Good
months,
question. Yeah.
if we could get 3 months of data, we could extrapolate from that. John, do you know the answer to
John?
that?
No, the 3 months of data, I'd have to check with, we could go back, I'll check with Dave. 'cause
No,
he's-
no, different question. When does a past due water bill go into a lien position?
I think it's, is it 60 days?
Oh, you know?
I believe it's 30 days once it's 30 days, it starts accruing interest. 30 days late. So they were sent out and the due date was October 1. So on November 1, they start accruing interest. But as a commission, we could waive that interest also. Done that in the past.
John, do
I
you
do
have
have a
access?
suggestion, Mark. Mark, I do have a suggestion.
I would welcome that.
Okay, basically, our average this year across Fairfield is $488.25, our average bill. I'm just going back all the way to 2017 because this looks like it started 3 years ago at least. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house, about 3,000 square feet. Is that correct, Kelly?
That's correct.
Stephanie? Ms. Kelly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I am saying at minimum, we should be at the average, maybe a 10% increase because of the size of the house. It's a little bigger than the average size of our houses, which would be putting it at about the 2017 number of 570.
Mm-hmm.
Make an adjustment down from the certainly 8,898 to something more in the average 4-bedroom, 3-bath house. Now,
So take the
they do have
2017.
four teenagers in there, which probably puts it a little further up, but I'm willing to go with that number, about 570.
Yeah, I can support that. Any comments, questions from the commission? Proposal is taking 570, carrying that forward, and adjusting off the difference.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to make the motion then. I'm not sure we made a motion and voted on it, but make a
Correct.
motion to adjust the bill from $8,898 to $570 for 2021 for the location at 76 Daybreak Lane.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
Thank you, Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Looks to be unanimous.
Quinn, aye.
Great, thanks, Quinn. Okay,
That satisfactory?
is that satisfactory with you, Stephanie?
It's very satisfactory. Thank you
No
very
problem.
much, everyone.
Okay, enjoy your night.
Thank you.
Yep, sure. Okay, second is 701 Fairfield Beach Road.
Hello.
Hi and welcome. John, do you want to give us an overview on this?
Yeah, 701 Fairfield Beach Road is a water leak. The original bill was for $1,037.76. The adjustment amount is $187.68. New bill is for $850.08.
Okay. Such a small amount, I'm surprised it's coming to the commission, but of $187 adjustment, correct?
Yes.
Comments or questions from the commission? Or motion?
So John Clancy, may I just ask a question? I'm sorry,
Mhm.
Mark. May I
Sure.
ask a question through the chair?
Of course.
So the bill for 2021 was 1,037, and you are recommending we adjust it down $187?
Yes.
Thank you.
Or motion?
And Mr. Chair,
Right.
I'd like to make a motion to adjust the water bill for 701 Fairfield Beach Road. Originally billed at $1,037.76, adjusting it $187 down caused by a leak. Bring the bill to the charge to $850.76 for 2021.
Excellent. Is there a second? Second from Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Looks to be
Quinn,
unanimous.
aye.
Thank you, Quinn. Okay, moving right along, 541 Riverside Avenue.
Hello, this is Kevin Dunn. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. It's Riverside Drive, by the way.
Mhm. 541.
Yep.
What's the situation here?
So we apparently had a leak in our toilet, and we saw a spike on our the sewer bill. In 2016, it was 301. 2017, it was 299. 2018, it was 299. 2019, 448, and then it jumped to 220. And I want to commend the people that work in the tax office. They suggested I make an appeal to the commission.
Mhm.
And what had happened was we called the plumber, and his son was immunely compromised, so he couldn't come out for a while. And then we were doing some remodeling, and he took a look at it, and he went ahead and fixed the leak in the toilet. And I think I provided the tax collector. I don't know if you guys have access to that right now, but we
Yeah,
paid
we have the,
$20.
we have the invoice.
Look, I want to be fair, to the commission. What I would like to do is, permit me to suggest to the commission that our bill should probably be the highest bill we've had in the last 4 years, the 448. Nothing's changed in our family. There's 3 of us that live here. I have a son, my wife, and myself live here. So it clearly this was due to the leak in the toilet.
Okay.
Is there any other information I could share?
No, it seems pretty straightforward.
Mr. Dunn, may I just address one question to you?
Sure.
I understand last year's was 448.56.
Right.
We did raise the rates from last year to this year by 5%.
Okay.
Which would be an increase to $470.99.
Okay.
An increase of $22 roughly.
I think that's fair.
Do you have any issue with that?
No, that's
adjustment?
fair.
Okay. Joe,
Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to adjust the sewer bill for 541 Riverside Drive for 2021 to $470.99.
okay.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Excellent. All
Thank
right.
you very much, everyone.
Problem solved. Great.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for that. Very welcome. Oh, let's see. Our next water leak is 100 Kings Highway cutoff. A $12,861 bill. Looking for an adjustment of $1,346 to a revised of 11,514.
Hi, this is Kevin Patel from 100 Kings Highway Cutoff. Everybody can hear me, sir?
Loud and clear.
So
Thanks for
basically,
joining us.
by the time we find out there's a water leak, like, our relief valve was keep leaking and some toilet was running. And we didn't realize, like, until 2-3 months that the water bill is high because all the bills are paid by accounting company. And by the time we realize it's kind of, late. So there was a water leak for 2-3 months actually. And when I talked to Aquarian, and I sent the letter too with that one, they can adjust only for 1 month. But, because like when I talked to Dave, and he was very helpful, like the way the sewer bill was counted is from, I think,
December through April.
yeah, December through April, exactly. So, you know, like those are the slowest month, like especially in 20 March when the COVID started and our business picked up like April 21 or something. And so that period should be less actually. So, and in the past, like when I looked at like 7-year history, we never have that much usage. So I don't know if you can do multiple, like, you know, month adjustment. And I'm still talking to Aquarian to look at all the details. So, I mean, for the multiple month, but at least they gave me at least for 1 month right now. Like in the past, I don't know, like it was like $6,000-7,000 my sewer bill per yearly, and these
It
year,
was, yeah,
and I sent the
6,300
occupancy
and
report too. I think it's
8,000.
a 60-room hotel. This year it is like 13,000, close like 12,800.
It was
Mark,
8,100, 8,200,
last year's bill was
6,300.
$6,301.20.
Yeah.
And I'm confused if Aquarian is still in the picture. If they're still working on an adjustment, then how do we know what we're working with to adjust?
So they gave me only 1 month adjustment right now, and that later I sent you.
Mhm. Dated October 26th.
Right, but so then are we working off of that adjustment or might there be an additional?
So my request is like, you know, let's work with these adjustment first, and if I able to, you know, I don't know, Aquarian can able to adjust some. I'm still trying, and then maybe we can do again, or is it possible?
Aquarium will do a one-time adjustment. 'Cause that's happened to me.
Yeah, that's what they told me. So I don't know, maybe from the town if they can help me a little bit more on the, you know, sewer bill. And you're right, like
Well,
Aquarian,
that's
I told them.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of this is aquarium. You get it fixed, aquarium gets you adjustment at one time, and then then you're supposed to come to the town and say, here, the aquarium's giving me this kind of an adjustment, and we take action based on that. But are you waiting for aquarium on anything?
No, I talked to a few different people and they said, okay, let me look into it and all that. But I think like when I talk to them, mostly they tell me straightforward that it's only one-time adjustment they can do.
Okay.
Correct.
Joe, Mr. Vice Chairman.
So similar to our previous two adjustments, last year's bill was $6,301.20. If I'm consistent with our 5% increase this year, I would suggest we go to $6,616.26 as the full bill for 2021.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's fine. Did you make that in the form of a motion or
No,
conversation?
I was just a statement. I didn't know whether there's going to be any more discussion.
Yeah,
We'll make a motion if you'd like, Nancy.
yeah, you're so close.
Joe's
Okay,
our
I have
motion
no
guy.
problem with it. I don't know if anyone else wants a discussion, but that sounds reasonable to me. And if Aquarian has already done the song and dance, then
yeah, they'll only do one-time adjustment. They don't go
exactly.
back.
So
Okay,
They don't want
appreciate
to
it.
bother.
Yeah.
I just was confused by that, so I just wanted to make sure we weren't missing something.
So I would like
I
to
agree.
make a motion to reduce the 2021 sewer bill for 100 Kings Highway cutoff to $6,616.26.
I'll second it.
Second from Nancy, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Aye.
Okay. It's a nice outcome for you. Okay, thanks for joining us, Mr. Patel.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, we have two more water leaks. 222 High Ridge Road. Original bill of $1,788. I just have in my notes a pending WPCA, so. John, what's the situation there?
Ridge Road. I don't have High Ridge Road on my list.
22 High Ridge, yeah.
Let's see.
Is Mr. Herrera on the phone?
Mr. Herrera, that's right, Mr. Herrera, my apologies. Mr. Herrera, had it resolved, prior to this, meeting. My apologies. He contacted me, yesterday. He had it resolved.
So there's nothing to be done there, John?
Nothing to be done.
Okay.
My apologies.
And then our next is 74 Henry Street.
That's why it's not on the list.
Okay. Original bill $1,667.04. What's our situation here?
The situation was that I had a leak. My toilet was running, and or actually, my toilet was running, and I kind of really didn't even notice until my bill is paid automatically. My aquarium bill's paid automatically, and I happened to be in my bank account, and I was like, "Wow, those charges are super high." Normally, it's like
Yeah.
it's just me and my cat. My cat doesn't use that much water, and sometimes my bills are like $17 a month or maybe $20 a month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh gosh. And then I was like, I am such a fool. I now, like, you can't have your toilet running. It's really bad. Anyway, it took me a while to figure that out. And I paid Aquarian, that's fine because they got paid automatically. And I'm like, I'm an idiot, so I just have to eat it. I didn't think about it anymore. And then I got and once I realized it was running, I'm like, okay, I got to get the plumber. Plumber came, all good. Of course, that was like $170. Like I should have just, whatever. It was like the COVID darkness times, and I couldn't manage. Anyway, when I got the sewer bill, I'm like, oh my God, it was huge. It was like a life size. It was just ginormous. And I said, I have to, I throw myself in the hands of anybody who will fix me. And so that's what I'm asking for. Can you help? Can you please help?
Joe, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking last year's bill was a minimum bill of 150.
That's what I think.
She's already answered my question, how many people are in the house?
Yeah.
The
cat, she's a terrible water hog.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to reduce the water bill to reduce the sewer bill, at 74 Henry Street to the minimum usage of $150.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
Well, it hasn't passed yet, so hang on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second, Nancy just beat Matt to the second.
You take it. You take it, Matt. Take it.
Okay, all in favor?
Jeopardy here.
Aye.
Who can hit the button?
And you're going to give her your speech about Aquarian will make a one-time water adjustment for her? Ron, Drew?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You say it so
Aquarium
well.
will make it.
Yeah.
So do I need to ask them for it, or how does that happen? I just call them up and say,
Well,
Yes.
Mr. Drew is going to tell you.
"Oh, okay. It's a little quiet in my computer there, so I'm listening."
When we talked to the WPTA in Fairfield, and they directed you to call Aquarium to get the one-time adjustment.
Okay. And so is the commission communicating with them, or do I have to tell them or anything? Do they know what to charge me, or?
No,
Well,
they will
they'll
make
you.
the adjustment based on your usage of the water.
Oh,
We
okay, gotcha.
don't get involved with them at all. We'll get
Okay.
involved with the tax assessor, so you'll get a reduced bill.
Okay, that's
That's
fabulous.
what we do.
And so I did pay it's it must have been like $833.52. So should I just be working that off over the next 10 years, or is it
Well, I'm sure the town would appreciate that, but I think once John Clancy, once you make the adjustment with the tax collector, she can go in and request a refund.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works mechanically.
I won't spend it all in one place. How's that?
Splurge on the cat. Okay.
Blame it on the cat. That's right. Blame it on the cat.
You're all
You're
set.
blaming you're gonna blame my cat. She can't even talk.
Yeah. Well, as
And
far
it's,
as we know.
yeah, as far as
Okay. All set on that.
thank you.
Have a good
Thank you
night,
very
Ms.
much.
Gardner.
And, please have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You as well. Okay. Let's go to 1159, which is the Oliver's Greenhouse. Original bill of $1,876.80. What's the situation here?
Is somebody here from Oliver's?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Scott Jameson.
I talked to Scott.
Yeah. Do you want me to kind of give
Sure.
a rundown? I don't know what you guys know or don't know. You want me to kind of explain the situation?
Please.
We're at the nursery on Bronson Road on the left. We're not the greenhouse on the right, but we do have a greenhouse up in the back. We have a 2-inch water main that comes in off the street into a pit and a 2-inch meter. And after the meter, there's a 1-inch line that goes over to the office. The main line goes up into the property, which runs the irrigation and the greenhouse and all that. And for the last, I don't know how many years, probably since the sewer was put in, they have gotten the reading from Aquarian. And I have always gone down to the sewer department and said, you know, we have 2 toilets in the building. There's no one living there. There's no one showering. There's no one doing laundry or dishes or whatever. Clearly, most of my water is sprinkled on the ground and watering plant material. And the people in the sewer office have always said, you're right, that doesn't make any sense, and have made an adjustment. And I guess the system has changed, and I went in this year with it and was told that I should come to you guys and explain the situation and see what you could do for me. And my suggestion to John was to see if I could get Aquarian to actually put a separate meter on the line to the office, which is the only water that really comes in onto the property and back out through the sewer system. And I called them today, and at least the person that I talked to said that the only way that they would do that would be if I put a separate tap in the street and brought a new line into the office, which seems a little ridiculous when there's perfect access to the water line that's coming in. So, you know, clearly there is water that we use that goes into the sewer system, but it clearly isn't as much as what the bill is reflecting.
We understand, Joe.
So yes, consistent with, actually with our other comments, what I'd like to do is make a motion to reduce the sewer bill for 1159 Bronson Road, which is Oliver's Nurseries, to be consistent with last year's adjusted bill. And what I'm recommending is a bill this year for $210.26. And let me explain. Last year, the bill that you paid, Scott, was $200.25.
Yep.
We raised the rates 5%, which brings it to $210.26.
Right, which is more than fair. And
You're dangerously close to our minimum of 150, but you're not there yet.
right.
So-
Well, no, that's more than fair. And I guess my question is this something now that, you know, every year going forward, I'm going to have to come before you guys? And, you know, I wish I could figure a way to resolve this so that it isn't a problem for you. And that's why I went to Aquarian and said, you know, is there something we can do with the meter reading? They didn't seem very helpful. I'm willing to keep trying. So then, you know, but then the gal in the tax office said, well, you don't want to do that because then you're going to have 2 Aquarian bills and they're going to charge you for both of them.
Yeah, so Scott, it's really a it doesn't make sense to put a new tap in the road.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's really a kind of a process / compliance question,
Right.
which we've had so much turnover in the department
Yeah.
that we're kind of erring on the side of caution and
Right.
being
Well, that makes sense.
conservative. So I'm not sure what the lay of the land will be a year from now.
Okay.
But, you know, hopefully for the 35 minutes of time plus or minus, it's
Right.
it's a.
Yeah,
it's
well, I
a
don't mind
fair-
doing
it's
it.
a-
If you
yeah,
guys
it's a
don't mind
fair
hearing
outcome.
my plea, so
We volunteer for this.
you're good guys.
This is what we do.
All right.
Have
Well,
a
I
great
appreciate your help with
holiday
that.
season. You got it.
Thanks very much.
Okay, next up is the
Mr.
farm
Chair,
on Fairfield
Mr.
Beach
Chair, can I
Road.
ask you to, Mark,
I'm
can I
sorry.
ask you to call for a vote on the
Yeah.
motion?
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Officially.
I got ahead of myself. Yeah, I don't think we had a second on that. Do we have a second? Second from Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got the unanimous vote.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Okay, so let me slow down. We 1450 Fairfield Beach Road, Mr. Greg Sargent's farm. I am a friend of Greg, so I will be recusing myself from the vote. But the situation, as I understand it, is do we have 3 years worth of bills here? Is that what's outstanding, Greg?
I think probably about more than 15.
More than 15 years.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a backlog of invoices here. The now, is there a sewer line to the farm?
No, it's an open property with 2 old barns dating back from pre-zoning regs. Had a water line installed roughly 2003. And for some reason, I don't know, beyond my information, that the property was tied to my home address. And so behind my back, unbeknownst to me, the property's been taxed. The water I use on the farm has been tied into my home use for the past 15 plus years.
That's the first.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question? Do we
course.
have a running total? What is the total that this gentleman has been taxed for the last 15 years? For this property, the 1450 Fairfield Beach Road property? Do we have a breakout?
I'm just going through the documentation. I don't see it.
I don't see it. The only thing I see in the documentation, it was billed for $2,547. I don't know.
Well, the good news is that, the bills are calculated based on December through April usage. And hopefully there's not, Greg, is there much water usage at the farm between these times?
Generally speaking, very little. And what triggered this kind of whole discussion right here is that, I have frost-free spigots where I can, if you stand the standing pipes, pull them up, water runs, turn it off, and any water in the pipe drains to the ground, which is fairly typical for a farm or any kind of area exposed to frost. And this past year, when I received my tax bill, my sewer bill, it blew out and it triggered me saying, hey, I've got a leak in one of my frost-free pipes. So when I went to the tax people to pay the bill, they said, hey, you should look into this. And sure enough, I had some plumbers going to excavate and found there was a leak in one of my frost-free pipes.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, I would not have known that my farm was being attached to my home sewer bill the past 15 years. I didn't know. So any water I've used on my property, my open piece of land, has been attached to my home for at least 15 years now.
Well, water used between December and April.
Correct. Nonetheless, any water I use was attached to my home.
Okay, so there's two issues. There's a water line to a property that has no sewer connection, and there's a over usage. There's this leakage from looking at the bills. It looks like December through April or so of 2020. When was the repair made?
About 2 weeks ago.
Mr. Chair, can I ask Mr. Clancy a question, please?
Please.
John, do you have the sewer charges, the sewer bills for the last couple of years for the, not the farm, but the residents?
I do not.
Okay.
I have the CCF water usage for the past 2 years. And as an example, just an example of this past year, my home for December was 6, January 5, February 3, March 4, April 6. On the farm property, the same year, apples to apples, December is 35, January is 37, February is 42, March is 32, April is 38. So roughly speaking, it's about 8 or 9x.
Yeah, it's a heck of a leak.
Yeah, underground too, so I can't even see it. You don't see the leak. It's a frost-free standing pipe.
So, Mr. Sergeant, may I ask you a question? What period of time are you requesting we go back and adjust? How far back?
15 years. You've been overtaxing me since the pipe was put in.
Mhm.
That's a fact, right? Someone attached my farm property to my home property has been charging me sewer tax on a piece of property that has no sewer attachment. That's a fact.
Right. I just wanted to get that on the record. I'm sorry. I understood what you were saying. I just wanted it on the record.
I'm sorry if I'm getting a little angry. I'm not being angry. I'm just trying to make sure we're all clear on the situation here. It's an open piece of land, has 2 old barns, has crops. There's a water leakage, and I discovered that I was getting overtaxed because the bill popped up in the sewer tax. That's all.
Yeah, another way to say it, on your farm property, you have no toilets, sinks, or tubs.
No.
Thank you. If I could, Mr. Chair, I think we need to defer this item until we can gather up the numbers for the last 15 years on the personal property, on the residential property, to determine, I don't even have a basis here to think about what the difference is between the two properties.
Yeah, I certainly agree we need more data. It strikes me that based on the usage of the main house, it's going to be in the realm of the minimum sewer tax. Right?
That's what it sounded like when Mr. Sergeant went through the numbers. It sounded like it was a minimum amount on the residents.
Yeah, I mean, remarkably low. And that I think we're fortunate in that the summer usage isn't coming into play on the farm. So I think it's an analysis that can be done hopefully without too much loss of gray matter.
Right. The other question I would ask Mr. Sergeant is, over the last 15 years, what has been the occupation of the house, occupants? How many occupants have you had 15 years ago versus today? I assume it's your personal residence, not a rental.
No, it's my residence. I got married 14 years ago. We had a daughter 12 years ago. So
So-
2.5 for a few years, and then now 3 for the past 12.
Okay, 3 people.
3 people.
Roughly. That's minimum. That's why I was hearing minimum numbers on the water usage.
Hasn't changed.
Okay. Mark, I think we need to go get the 15 years worth of sewer bills and look at them. I'm not sure how far back we can adjust. That's my concern. We've never had to go back 15 years. We've gone back 2 or 3, but we've never gone back 15 in my,
Based on what, Joe? You don't, who is that deciding entity? Why can't we?
I don't know. It's just that we have never done it before. Might want to just chat with the town attorney and just ask him the question.
Yeah,
Is there
I
any
would be in
trouble
favor
going
of
back
delaying
that
also, because obviously if we, for me, for this gentleman, if for you, Mr. Sergeant, if we can, we're better off finding out that answer in an informed way, seeing what the town attorney has to say, getting the information, rather than voting on something based on not all the facts.
I've already asked to defer. I'd like to defer this topic until we can get more
Yeah, I'm
data.
all for deferring.
Yeah.
There's an email in the packet here from David Klazuski, the tax collector, and he's got a sentence in here that says statutorily we can only go back a period of 3 years when it comes to issuing refunds.
That's what I remember. Okay, 3 years. That's what I thought. But I still want to defer.
Right.
And ask.
Especially
So
because
my
if
only-
statutorily he's saying it's there from the tax collector, if there's more we can do, we should do it. So we shouldn't cut ourselves short by taking a vote today. Or cut you too short.
Yeah, I don't think we can vote tonight. I think that we have to defer this till you get more data. The other thing I would mention is we probably ought to let the, John, we ought to let the tax assessor, if he's the one that does the liens on properties, not to lien this property until it's been resolved.
In fairness, Commission, I
that
have
make-
paid the tax in full in advance, and then have gone to you to address the issue. So there should be no
Yeah.
lien in the property.
Yeah. Interest isn't running on this one, Ron.
Okay, all right. So you
Okay.
paid the bill, now you're looking to get, a refund is really what it is.
All right, so we need more data. It looks as though the analysis will be on if Mr. Sargent's coming in below the minimum threshold over the last 15 years, then that's a pretty easy analysis to do.
Yes and no. What was the minimum rate 15 years ago? Do we still have that?
Yeah.
I know we know what it is today, but obviously it wasn't $150 15 years ago.
No, it was probably 75. I would guess, somewhere around 75 or 100. But yeah, I think it's an analysis that can be done, should be done.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do the analysis. I just need the information of what Mr. Sargent has paid for the last 15 years. And then we need a question, I guess. I believe it's 3 years. That Matt just confirmed. That's what I remember, that we are only allowed to go back 3 years to adjust. So that's a question then for the town attorney, I guess, to give us some guidance.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this 1450 Fairfield Beach until, let's say, date certain. Are we doing a December meeting, guys?
I suspect there'll be some more adjustments as much as we'd like to.
Okay, so to our December meeting.
I'll second it.
Second from Nancy, all in favor?
All right.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Here, buddy.
Sargent.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you got it. Okay, and then our last item is 68 Old Farm Road. This is, good evening. This is unusual in that I've never seen this before. The Derby family bought a home, moved in, and received a tax bill based on the prior use occupants, which happens all the time. You know, I would imagine at some closings, they take a look at the bill and make adjustments. In this case, the bill is for I believe it's a 1.5 bathroom home. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
$1,100, 1104. So Mr. Derby has, let me defer to you and tell the commission what's going on here.
Sure. I bought the house and moved in August 25th. There were renters there, I guess, before I bought it for years. My first water bill that I got was $11.35, and my second one was $37.26 because I tore up all the grass and planted grass seed, so I had to water it. It definitely doesn't warrant an $1,104 sewer bill. So I called Aquarion. Well, I first went to the tax collector and they laughed at the bill and they said, that's nuts. And I called Aquarion. Aquarion won't give me any data from a house that I didn't own. They said there was obviously a problem. They were never told there was a problem, but that problem must have been rectified in April because the water bills became normal. That's April. I bought it in August and I got a bill, which I understand you guys look at numbers and then you just hand out a bill. But buying a house in August and getting an $1,100 bill was kind of a shock. And then I paid half of it because they said that I would be, that I would get penalized. So I paid the 500 and change, in late October. There was obviously a problem with water with the renters or whatever, but I don't know what the problem was that it was going to tell me. I could just tell you that whatever it was is rectified because I live there now and my water bills are pretty small. I have 3 kids, but 2 of them are in college. So it's me, my wife, and my youngest with a 1.5 bathroom house. And 2 dogs, but the 2 dogs don't. I mean, I give them water every day.
Yeah, that's important. Joe.
Just like the cat.
Yes, like the cat. Thematic tonight.
So
Joe, you have a thought.
I don't know what to. I know that it's not fair for an $1,100 bill, but I really don't know what's fair. I mean, you meet me halfway and say, all right, you got an $11 bill and a $37 bill, cut that in half, times it by 12, and I get a refund and we'll see what happens next year. I don't know. You guys you're used to doing this stuff.
We are. Joe, yes.
Okay, I see 2 options here. Again, it's a 1.5 bath, so we can go at least for the first year that Mr. Derby's living in the house with the minimum of 150, or we can go with the average for Fairfield, which is $488.
I don't like number 2.
I'm sorry, Mike. Let me address my comments to the commission, and then we'll bring it back for you.
Heard though.
So those, I think, are the 2 options we have. Clearly, he didn't get an adjustment. I'm taking Mike's word that he didn't get an adjustment at his closing as far as the taxes. That sometimes happens, it sometimes doesn't happen. So we base it on prior year. The meter is actually what we base it on from December to April, as Mark says, and we multiply by 2.5 the usage. So I could make a recommendation that we can go with 488 or 150, but I'd like to determine what the rest of the commission has to say. That's what the feelings are.
Do we have the prior years? I mean, I can see the 2020 bill was pretty high. How about like the years before that, 19,
Mike
18?
Derby just moved into the house on August 25th, Matt.
Right. No, but I'm saying the actual property itself, because the copy of the sewer use adjustment spreadsheet has a column that shows a 2020 bill versus the original, and it's actually higher than the original. I'm just trying to get an understanding of like prior years for that property.
Mr. Derby?
Yeah, so, I mean, I live in there with my wife and one kid right now. They had a bunch of renters. I don't know if they had 50 people in that house
Yeah.
running the toilet.
Yeah.
And no one was going to tell me, and I tried to find out.
Yeah. So the issue is if, the town over that period of time was processing their wastewater. And
From
so,
what I would guess that they had a problem, pipe or something, but they never told Aquarion. I wouldn't know, but Aquarion told me in April the bills started to normalize. And then I can tell you what my water bills are, and they're next to nothing.
yeah, so what was your September bill?
$11.35.
For how many, was that for a full month? Seems low.
Yeah, I moved in August 25th, and then the next bill was $37.26.
Yeah, it sounds more realistic.
But I mean, admittedly, I used a bunch of water because I planted a lot of grass seed.
Yeah, Mark, I'm inclined to go with the minimum. If you'd like a motion.
Yeah, I would like a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjust 68 Old Farm Road to the minimum use for the 2021 sewer assessment.
I'll second it for discussion. I
second.
just need clarifying.
Mhm.
Because I'm lost in the numbers, because we talked about the two options. Can you just spell it out? Or sorry, we have to be in favor of the motion first, sorry.
Right.
So I'll second it.
So there was a second on the minimum use of 150. I mean, my view is, we're going into a new cycle. We'll get a new bill next year, and I can get comfortable with that. Is any comments, questions?
Can you just clarify, because I sorry, in the math I got lost. You're proposing, can you explain what it is and then what the proposal is for and what were the two scenarios, just math
Let me
wise?
give you the two scenarios, Nancy.
Yeah.
What happens is if the usage is under 50 CCFs to any residence, any meter, and you remember the way we calculated December to April times 2.5. If it's under 50 CCFs, we charge just a minimum rate.
Yeah.
If it goes over that, we
Got it.
charge based
Yep.
on the usage.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
average- What I was saying is the average usage for a Fairfield house this year, 2021, is $488. That's the average use. However, the minimum use, being 50 or under, is $150, just flat rate. So those were the two numbers I threw out.
So it becomes the 150 versus the 488.
Well, that's what the
Final bid.
motion, that's the motion I'm making.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to get to that place.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just my 2 cents based on what Mark had just said about how we're entering the new cycle anyway. I'm okay with it. I don't love approving something with as little data as we seem to have here, but
Yeah.
I think that if you think about it, a 1.5 bathroom, I mean, you'd be hard to go above that
Exactly.
minimum, but it looks like it has been for a while, which is just curious. But I think 2022 will set the record straight. So
Yeah, I agree with that, Matt. That logic makes total sense to me.
Well said. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Quinn, aye.
Thank you, Quinn. Okay, so that closes out for new business. I want to just mention that I had pegged that at 15 to 20 minutes, and that was a horrible, horrible guesstimate on my part. Okay, let's move into,
I think the people of Fairfield will appreciate how much time and energy and thought goes into the decisions you make at the
I
WPCA.
would hope so. I would hope so. We're neighbors, neighbors in this community of ours. Okay, speaking of neighbors, a discussion on the Carriage Drive paving for sewer extension. I saw Tim Warren's box there before. I think he's with us.
Yes. How are you?
Well, I'm personally happy to see that this is moving along. Let me summarize the situation as it was conveyed to me a few days ago. In this fairly comprehensive and complex agreement, we now have a new policy on these matters. There's a component where the work that's done on these on this specific and potentially future sewer extensions, the paving component is to be split between the town and the WPCA. Someone correct me if I'm off base here. We don't have comfort that the town has Department of Public Works has any interest whatsoever in repaving this particular road, or even fixing the trench that is dug after this work is done. There's a similar project that's taking place right now in Sasco, where it wasn't an issue where prior to this policy, the applicant has paid for the patching of that trench. So what we have in front of us is a conversation about how we address this issue of fixing the road after the sewer extension, repaving the road, either the trench or the whole road, after this work is done. John, did I get that right?
Yeah, sounds good. Does that sound right, Tim?
Mark,
That's exactly it.
small
Yeah.
correction from the policy. The policy says the town will pay for it. It doesn't say there's a split between the WPCA and the town.
Yeah.
We didn't make that finite.
Yeah, yeah. But, we've been talking about this for a while. It was in our last conversation, I raised it personally that it was my biggest concern, that we don't have any sort of control or even much influence on the Department of Public Works. I think we were all kind of hopeful that this might be in the queue for a paving redo, but I've been told that they paved the street a couple of years ago, and it's going to be some time before they do that again.
Right. So we had a good meeting with the engineer, Chris DeAngelis, went over the plans. They talked about some finer points of the actual design and things like that. But in the beginning of the meeting, this was kind of front and center, that the Public Works Department wasn't probably going to play ball unless a town-wide assessment that they had a third party do came back and suggested that the road was already in bad shape. I don't think it's in bad shape, so it's probably silly to assume that we might get lucky there or something. So, and I could be wrong. It could have been an earlier draft, but the contract I pulled up during the meeting, it did say 50% would be WPCA and 50% would be borne by the town. I could be wrong about that, and I also don't know if it matters now. But that's kind of where it's at. And not my only worry about this, but it's just that we paid for this soil testing, and we paid for the design of the sewer line, just with the understanding that as long as the design was a go and the soil testing didn't raise any red flags, that we'd be okay. So I solicited my neighbors and the money to that end.
No, I got it. I think we can figure out it's there's a lot of back and forth, give and take here. Let me ask you, if we pave the trench, would that be acceptable? because my guess is that there's a big cost difference between fixing the trench that's created versus paving the whole road.
Yeah, I mean, the short story is yeah, if we can get a sewer line, I mean, I know there might be a bit of a racing strip. We talked about moving the design of it so that, you know, that the racing strip would be sort of more out of the way. But I think where they've designed it to be is strategic and kind of necessary. But, you know, long story short, yeah, I think so. A scenario that ends in a sewer line on the road is cool. And you know, I don't know what we're really inviting as far as like a bumpy road goes and things like that. But if it's not curb to curb, but we all can get rid of our septic systems, I think that's a win, you know.
I mean, as is, the design would have at least temporary pavement restoration, right, for the trench. Like, I mean, they've got to fill it in, backfill, and then compact, and then it's usually like 15 or 30 day, and then they shave off the top. And it's a process to do the road repaving type of work to fill in a trench.
Joe?
Tim, did your proposal from your contractor, didn't it have a number in there for the paving?
It did, but it was curb to curb.
Okay. And what was that
so,
number?
yeah,
Do you remember the number?
I thought it was about 80,000.
Yeah, okay, that was my recollection, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. Yep. And yep. So, and that was also with the understanding that the depth was going to be deeper than it is with the current design. You know, we started to brainstorm and be a little creative at the meeting with the engineer, but they weren't really there to talk about that. So we kind of ended that discussion. But I do think there's ways to lessen the expense. You guys would be more equipped and probably know people vastly more equipped than I would be to sort of dream that up, you know.
I don't know, maybe Matt.
I mean, I think what you guys already said is the best way to, I mean, instead of doing curb to curb, living with a racing strip until the town can get back out there and do full mill and overlay, which, I mean, by having the racing strip, you're theoretically downgrading the existing conditions. So then it should be a higher priority for mill and overlay.
I wish the pipe was already in, and I think we would have tossed ourselves the ball there, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could put the project in and ask for a reboot, and say, hey, we want to move up the list, and maybe you guys could help with that. You know, I'm an optimist. That's how we made it this far. So
Yeah, for sure. You can do that through life.
I mean, I would agree that I don't think that curb to curb is necessary in terms of putting in the sewer line. Obviously, it's aesthetically better, and I mean, in all ways, it's better. But as far as like a cost-cutting measure, just filling in and trying to kind of match the trench as best you can, I think that's a good short-term solution. That I would think that the project and then everybody could probably bore that cost like within our sewer line extension policy.
Okay, so it's not an actionable item, it's the discussion on paving, and it sounds like the agreement is that the town will pay for the paving, and it sounds like the discussion is that the WPCA will pay for the trench paving. I'm not sure if we need to memorialize that. I think we can probably check with our council on that. But we certainly don't want to delay this.
I mean, that's music to my ears. You know, I'm a bit worried, you know. So
No, we know you guys are writing checks.
Yeah.
And doing the soil testing and so forth. It's nice. It's nice that someone other than the town of Fairfield is paying for soil testing.
I bet. Well, and the other thing here is we have to still kind of solidify things with the town, with the lawyer, right? So if we're drafting something up that I guess we would approve with you guys before, the more unified we are, that we are with you, the neighborhood is with you guys, et cetera. Like the agreement includes all the expenses, and there's no loose ends where they have to go to Department of Public Works and ask for agreement. Then, you know, we could kind of draft that up, run it by you guys and submit it to them with your, you know, support. And we still have that hurdle to clear. But if we're on the same page, then I can communicate this to the neighbors and say, look, we're not dead here. We can get the sewer line, but it's going to be this and this. And I think, you know, I think that'll be cool. I think that'll be great.
Yeah. Joe.
Mark, may I suggest we take a sense of the body vote to
Yeah, that
determine
makes a
that
lot of
we're
sense.
all in agreement that basically the WPCA commission will pay for the cost of paving at minimum a trench. So that at least Tim has something to hang his hat on.
I mean, I would argue that that's actually necessary as part of putting in the sewer line. I mean, I would not consider that pavement restoration. I mean, you can't just put the pipe in and then leave a giant hole in the ground. So I would think that that's actually not part of the town pavement restoration side of thing. It's part of the actual project.
Yeah. I agree with that, Matt.
So do I, Nancy.
Glenn? Christian? Christian's thumbs up.
I'm good. This is Quinn. I'm good.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, Tim, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's sufficiently complex that I think all these details need to make their way into the final agreement. And if you want to move the ball on your side and get it to our town attorney, we're happy to do whatever is necessary to keep that moving right along.
Great. Okay. I mean, as far as that draft document goes, should I send it to you guys before, or should I just like copy you when we send it to them? Like, what's the most respectful way to move the ball and thorough?
Yeah, why don't you copy us on it? Send it out and copy us on it, and
Okay.
take a look.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Then I'll take yes for an answer. I really appreciate it, guys.
That's
I
good.
really, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
All
Nice
right.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks, man. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Update on current projects. I want to make note of the fact that Mr. Dennis Divert has been with us from the beginning this evening. So I'm going to, as a courtesy, defer to him to walk us through the projects that he's involved in. And the Eastern, and I've heard a rumor that the Easton/Sacred Heart pump station might be up and running. Is there any truth to that?
There is, Mark, there is. And thank you for letting me go first. I appreciate it.
God bless your patience.
Yeah. No problem. So so the pump station's been in operation for just about 2 weeks now. As with everything, not only in the town of Fairfield, but in every town I'm working in lately, it seems like it was not without issue. But we resolve things, and both force mains are operating properly. We're pumping 700 gallons a minute through one of the force mains, which discharges into the manhole that the old force main discharged into, which is at the intersection of Easton Turnpike and Colonies. And the force main that goes all the way up to Churchill Road is operating at, we scaled that back to about, I don't know what it's at now, but we were at like 550 gallons a minute. So, I mean, in a nutshell, you went from a pump station that had a design capacity of 350 gallons a minute to a pump station that is now capable of pumping 1,100 gallons a minute. So you've achieved that goal. There haven't been any issues with the station's operation, and we're in the process of trying to get rid of the old building, but we're jumping through hoops with with UI. We can't, everything inside the building's gone, but we can't take the building down till they shut the electrical service off. So we're kind of going back and forth with them on that, but hopefully that'll be done this week. And then we could get rid of the old building. I don't know if the contractor's going, unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to be able to pave this year. I'm assuming that if all the stars align and the building's gone before Thanksgiving, then we might be able to pave in early December, but I'm hoping for that. So really, remaining work includes paving, fencing, and just final site restoration. And of course, John and his staff need to be trained, and the building needs to be cleaned. And that,
They need the gas line too.
And the gas line, right? They won't put the gas line in until the old building's gone. So we're kind of waiting on that as well. So
What's the gas line needed for?
the gas line's for the new generator. Right now, we're operating off of a trailer mounted generator.
Gotcha.
Should we need it. So that's kind of where we're at. Now that the station's operational, I said, you know what, let me come to a meeting and fill everyone in. So it's been operating, like I said, without issue for about 2 weeks. And we're waiting on UI and the gas company for the final remaining underground work. So that's that stage. That's that. And then the other project is the phase 3 I&I, which is completed. That project is completed. So I don't have any other current projects.
Yeah, talk to us a bit about the I&I. Is there any way of measuring the relative effectiveness of the dollars spent?
You mean removal, the gallons removed?
Exactly.
Well, the only real easy way to do that is if you did pre-flow monitoring and post-flow monitoring, which we do not have that information.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you could look at holistically, throughout the town is you could say 20 years ago, our flow was 9 MGD and we had 5,000 sewer customers. And in 2021, our flow is 9 MGD and we have 7,000 sewer customers. So, I mean, that's just, again, just a sort of a broader way of looking at it.
John, have you noticed any reduction in flow?
It's still about average. There's certain parts. There's one instance up by Sacred Heart Toll House Road where they did some I&I work, and just so happens there's a pump station at the end of that line, and we went from a yearly flow of almost 2 million to 350,000. So there was a lot of that Mill River going into the sewer line, so that got knocked out. But because the pump station was there, we were able to quantify it. Other spots, not so much, because we don't do any flow monitoring pre or post.
Right. Right. And I mean, you could, when you're fixing a leak, you can look at it and you can estimate how much. You could say, oh, that's about a 2 gallon a minute leak, but that's just at that particular point in time. It could go up or down depending on the pressure in the ground, the groundwater level. So it's probably more difficult to quantify it than it is to remove it, to be quite honest.
Dennis, is there any update on where we are with the plant upgrade?
There is not, no. I spoke to Bill Norton about that before he left. I'm actually going to town tomorrow to meet with John about a couple of things. And I was hoping to touch base with him on that and bring him up to speed if he may already be just on where that stands. But last I
We need
heard,
the money for the design. The
yeah,
town's
that's
got to come up with the money for the design, and I don't know who's going to make that decision or when.
yeah, I think it was with who's the finance gentleman that we met with? Oh, it was Chris Rogers and Bill and I met with him. I don't remember what his name was, but
Jared?
that may be it. And I also don't know what involvement John Marsilio has, if any, in this whole process. So we may reach out to him, right, Pierce, just to see what he's thinking. But time is passing, and we just received the next call for projects from the DEEP. So we will be putting this project in again on for a position on the priority list. It's been submitted. We've submitted the last 4 years. So we plan to do that again.
Let me ask one more question. I don't want to take up all the time or all the space. Dennis, as we think about these we have a number of major projects in front of us. How should we be thinking about those projects in terms of resources in the market and potential government money that may come into the market?
Yeah. So is Fairfield receiving the rescue fund, the American Rescue Program funding? Or I don't know, I've heard it called a bunch of different things, but I'm assuming that Fairfield's receiving some money from that grant.
We did about 20 million and spent a lot of that on the police force and a few other town initiatives. None.
All right. So that's unfortunate because many towns that I work for earmarked, money for water and wastewater infrastructure improvements. It sounds like Fairfield did not do that. That's too bad.
Not a dollar, no.
So, I mean, we're very busy right now assisting people using that money for wastewater infrastructure improvements. But the market is, I see the market and my crystal ball tells me there's going to be a lack of engineers, a lack of designers, because there's going to be so much work going on. You're not going to get anyone qualified people, and either the quality of the work is going to suffer or it's not going to get done in a timely manner. Plus, I don't need to tell you all, about the supply chain issues and, cost increases and things like that. So it might not be a bad thing that the plant isn't going to construction in the next year, but, you're still 2 or 3 years away from that. You still have to do the design and everything. So, I mean, that's my 2 cents on that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure Matt, you would agree.
Yeah, I was looking to Matt for a comment on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's been a couple of months since I come and spoke to you folks, and I just wanted to provide you with an update.
Yeah, Dennis, you did do a review for us of the East Trunk Interceptor.
Yes.
And a project like that, give us some guidance on relative to resources in the market. When would be the ideal time to move forward on that?
So that project that's a little bit different because you're really just talking about pipe, right? And you could still get pipe for the most part. So I don't really see that as an issue. I mean, you're dealing with, fuel increases in fuel costs and things like that. But, I read an article that prevailing wage rates and stuff like that are not expected to be affected by all of this. It's really just material. So I think that is a very important project, and it's going to solve a lot of your problems, and it has to be done. I don't think waiting, I don't see a benefit in waiting, to be honest. I think it's something you should do next year. You should go to construction next year. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah, how do we do that, given the kind of paucity of resources within the town and the engineering department and the WPCA? Matt?
Well, where does that project stand? I know they were gonna go back and do some more soil testing. Has that all been done? And they did some geotech. I don't know where all that stuff stands. Did Cardinal do all that additional work or no? Yes, no?
I was going to see if John wanted to weigh in, John Clancy, but it's my understanding that that work is almost complete,
Okay.
the geotech and the soil testing.
I mean, your best bet is to go out to bid, now, winter time, be the first project on the street for 2022. You'll get the qualified contractors looking at it. You go out to bid in the summer, you're going to be sorry.
Well, that's the East Trunk Wetlands, the geotech.
Yeah.
No, that's different.
It's different.
Oh, this is the other one. Yeah, sorry, the other East
Yeah,
Trunk.
okay, all right, I just want to make sure. Gotcha.
John Bodie, have you been involved in those discussions at all?
Not a lot, no. I talked with Bill Hurley a few weeks ago when they were discussing more borings and who's going to pay for it and all the other stuff, but I haven't heard anything as of recent.
Yeah. So who's running point within the WPCA on that?
I don't know. I know Bill Hurley was in charge of it, and I know John Marsilio was asking about it at the same time, so I'm not sure if he's involved, but he's not with WPCA, so.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that project. Even John, even when I've met with Mark, the collection system guys, and John and Bill before he left it, no one ever had said anything about it. So that's a good question. I don't know, John Clancy, do you know what's going on with that? Or
No,
no?
I'm with John.
Matt and Dennis, let me ask this, not being a professional here. Can we put that out as some sort of design build package and cap our downside? Is there a realistic way to cap or to get a number called $10 million and cap our downside risk on that so that it doesn't come in at 12 or 14?
That's a tough one. I've never done a design build for a sewer. I don't know if I would. It's kind of risky. I mean, listen, you could go out to bid and get numbers. You don't have to do the project if you don't like what you get,
Yeah, the main benefit for design build is a tighter schedule and better collaboration during design. But I mean, I'm not too familiar with where the project is in terms of design. I mean, it sounds like we've already attained a lot of the geotech. That's where the biggest surprises are in a pipeline project. So if you've got tight geotech, then there's still going to be things that come up during construction, but at least there'll be less unknowns if you've got good soil evaluations and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you could do add alternates too. You could try to figure out some creative ways to do add alternates, or maybe put some.
Are you waiting on me at this point? Because I stepped away because my dog ate mouse poison.
No.
Oh boy.
That's not good.
Oh, I can't hear.
Nancy, we're having a conversation on who's going to run point within the town of Fairfield on some of these critical construction projects.
Got it. Sorry. Okay, I'm back. Thought I heard my name.
Yeah. Those are all good questions. Mark, I don't have good answers. Other than, you can get numbers, certainly, but you don't have to do the project if it doesn't come in with. Is that project being funded solely 100% by the town of Fairfield?
Well, there's a little bit of grant money.
So are you going to risk losing that grant money if you don't do what's the time frame on that? Does anybody remember? Joe, you might remember that.
I'll be honest, I do not remember.
We've been kicking that can down the road now for a few
Yeah,
years,
it's been
so.
years.
Yeah, no, it's just one of these days somebody's gonna say, you know what?
Yeah,
We're taking this money away from you.
yeah.
I've had that happen.
I don't know. I thought we spent the money Cardinal. I didn't think there was any more grant money for that particular project, but I don't I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, I'll I mean when I come to the plant tomorrow, John, maybe we can talk about that a little further and see if any who might know what the heck's going on there.
Yeah.
Was Lori involved in that? Is Lori involved in that?
I don't think so. I think it's all Bill Hurley.
Okay. All right.
Dennis?
Yeah, in a conversation Joe and I had with the first select woman a few months ago, we raised it as this is kind of a gating issue, a gating project for a number of initiatives. It's also the source of a lot of review and consternation by the Save Our Sound folks about the leakage into the Ash Creek seepage, and we need to move forward on it. It's like we have half a bench, and guys stepping in and filling in roles, and I'm as a volunteer commission, I'm not sure quite what our role is here, what we can and should be doing, except keep raising this as something that needs to move forward. I'm going to reach out to Mr. Marsilio and see if we can exert some pressure. At one point in time, maybe 6-9 months ago, he said he would be open to working with a subcommittee from the commission of 2 to 3 individuals to move some of these projects forward. Yeah, obviously not that terribly interested in interfacing with the commission in totality. So I will revisit that. And if anyone would like to work on some of these projects directly with the head of the Department of Public Works, please let me know. Thank you, Matt. Okay.
All right. So yeah, I mean, and then lastly, just when the station's complete, you guys go down there and take a look at it if you want. You know, I'm sure anyone who's interested. It's a pretty nice station. Just I didn't pick the color of the walls, just so you know.
Neither did I.
John Bodie picked that.
No. That was Bill.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody needs to remember to send Sacred Heart an invoice now.
Yeah.
But Dennis, thank you for your work on that.
No problem.
That it would not have gotten done without you.
It was a rough one, but we're almost there. So
yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
You as well. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis.
Take care.
Thanks,
John, see you
Dennis.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, ready, guys?
Yeah, let's
So
go
here we
to
go.
the Harding plant.
All right, the Harding plant. The road improvements are complete and the road has been paved with a binder course. And the final pavement will be completed this week, if it isn't already. Not this week, John?
It's all done.
It's all done. Okay, good. We heard from Dennis. And Eastern Turnpike Force Main Project, that's complete. Status update for East Trunk Interceptor, sewer relocation, tie and bond, perform borings, and we're waiting for the results on those. This next one, I think, is going to require some discussion. East Trunk Wetlands Crossing from Metro Center to Kenwood Avenue. Engineer and Geotech have determined that 2 additional borings will be needed to be done. They're putting together a cost estimate for additional work. I received an email yesterday after I talked to you, Joe, and you, Mark. they are proposing, and the breakdown is this, 13,000 extra dollars. And the breakdown is this, they want, $3,800 for, consultation fee. And, they want $14,500 for a geotechnical scope. And there another $15,200 for soil test borings. They've been paid $130,000 already. So told to bring that up to discussion tonight about where the money's going to come from. So,
How about begin with, is it necessary?
well,
What does our contract cover?
130,000. Bill Hurley is in dispute of the consultation with DEP. He already thinks it's in the contract. He's looking into that for me. Let's see. Breakdown. Submitted request.
Okay, well, I'm going to suggest that John, why don't you set up a call with Bill Hurley, and I'll jump on it, and maybe Joe can join as well. And we'll
Sure.
update the commission next month on whether or not we think we need to spend this money, where we are
Sure.
on the project, and what
Right.
our path is going forward.
Yeah, that's what was. I have to bring it up. Okay. When would you like, tomorrow, Mark, or?
Yeah, as soon as we can have that conversation.
Sure. Okay. All right. Status update for Riverside Drive siphon replacement. There's no current update. Tiger Bond has revised construction estimates to reflect review comments. There's no update on that. The WPCA outfall repair project's being reevaluated. John Bodie, do you have anything you want to add?
We talked to Laura, John Marsilio, myself, talked about it a week or so ago. We came up with the idea of maybe putting a valve in on each pipe to isolate, to do the repair. That's what I'm talking with Dennis about tomorrow. So he's going to kind of look at the whole scope of the thing and kind of give us a direction. And I think there's some money for that repair in a grant or something that we still have. Maybe, I don't even remember the number, but I think there's some money for that.
Okay. Microgrid status, the project is to restart, it started already, in October. Yankee Electric and Schneider on-site planning to remobilize and restart the job. The site excavation work is in progress for microgrid switchgear and the wire duct banks.
Not much going on there.
No,
No.
it's kind of at a standstill.
I think they're waiting on supplies, and I don't know.
Okay, and the wastewater treatment plant, funding needed for engineering services and designs.
We discussed that. We need the money to do the design, and who's going to pay for it and all that.
Okay. Phase 2 and Phase 4 I&I rehabilitation projects. Phase 3 is just punch list items to be complete, and Phase 4 is in design right now.
That'll probably start in the spring.
Okay. Carriage Drive sewer extension, town engineering department is reviewing the specs and plans and writing RFP for the bid. Status update on a wastewater treatment plant generator. Works complete, John?
Hopefully we're going back into tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. and it should be done tomorrow.
Okay, the new conduit. Conduit,
everything.
okay.
Knock on wood.
And Thorpe Street Sewer Relocation Project, the contractor will relocate the sewer on property and CCTV line through the wetlands.
I got nothing on that one.
Upper East Trunk Interceptor Sewer Relocation, there's no update on that. And pipe size reduction in Stratfield Road from Woodfield Village to Owen Fish Park, there's no update on that.
Got nothing.
Okay, and 15 Uncle Road project, flow monitoring is still in progress. Unfortunately, they fell short of the rain with the rain monitoring, with the amount of rain that we had last event. So still in progress. That's it.
John, who gave them direction on where to put the flow monitors on 15 Umpqua?
The town does.
Who within the town did that?
Usually, Chris Rogers put these ones in. So
Okay. On the call with Bill Hurley and the on the time bond issue, make sure Mr. Marsilio, who is the town employee responsible for this, I would imagine, is included in that invite.
okay. Okay.
Any comments, questions from the commission? John Bodie, thanks for stepping into some of these projects in addition to the plant.
I'll do what I can.
We really appreciate that that initiative.
I appreciate you guys. You guys do a remarkable job. Remarkable.
Well, I have you. Were there any sewer bypasses with all the rain?
None.
Really?
Nope. We handled, I mean, it came in a long enough span where we had no issues whatsoever.
Okay. Comments, questions from the commission? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second by Ron. All in favor? Looks to be unanimous. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good night.
Enjoy
Happy
the break.
Thanksgiving.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.